This video is brought to you by my $5 plus patrons over at patreon.com/Alex Haitz. We have Andreas Glasel and Identitech. They are bringing this video to you today. So thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy the video. Elijah Craig, small batch whiskey. I think it's a bourbon, actually. Great sipping whiskey by itself. It also mixes really well with Coke. Just a very nice, like, woody, oaky bite to it. Really good. Probably my top 3. Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bowie binge, as I might call it. So this is album 3 of 9 that we're doing with David Bowie on our initial run through him, if you will. I've heard Man Who Sold the World and Hunky Dory previously. Hunky Dory, I've warmed up to some of the songs. Changes I still like. Oh You Pretty Things has kind of gotten its hooks in me a little bit. Life on Mars has clicked a little bit more. I kind of see that now. Definitely a seminal song. Quicksand, interesting. Andy Warhol, still my favorite. Queen Bitch, interesting. The Beulah Brothers, interesting. I don't subjectively love it. I don't have that like pull to it where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a Bowie guy. But I see it. I see that it's there. And these albums might click more as time goes on and as I move forward. We'll see. Today, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Or Ziggy Stardust, as we're going to call it. So this is interesting. Recorded like shortly after the Hunky Dory material. Hunky Dory was recorded June to August 1971. And Ziggy was recorded November into February of 72. And then Hunky Dory comes out in December of 71. So kind of comes out while they're recording Ziggy. So back to back almost. Really interesting. We got it's just 38 minutes long. Glam rock, proto-punk. Just 10 out of 10s, 5 out of 5s. Perfect scores all across the board. Just nothing but perfect things to say about this one. Which, you know, of all the perfect albums I've listened to that have 10 out of 10s everywhere, I usually don't really feel it on the first run. But that's okay. That's okay, guys, right? Right? Anyway. Let me put it this way. I'm not expecting to love this album. I'm with each of these things, I'm not going in expecting an immediate visceral music enjoyment experience. Either because the genre isn't my thing, or the artist isn't my thing, or whatever it is. I'm more doing this to understand the artist rather than each individual song. So if I go through this video and there's songs I don't like, or by the end of the video, I just haven't really enjoyed my experience with the album, that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot, because I might warm up to it later. I might not. At the end of this whole thing, it might make more sense to me. So don't just watch this video and if I'm not immediately enjoying it, like dislike, be like, oh, he doesn't like Ziggy. Because that might not be the case, you know, months from now when I'm finally done with this Bowie trek. Like I've said before, think of this as a 9 video series that's actually like one video, one trajectory. Because I'm viewing this more as an artist thing than an album by album basis. So I'm not really like putting all my cards in on each album at a time. I'm kind of playing it loose and just kind of soaking in as much as I can with all 9 of these albums. So if that makes any sense, just don't write me off, because I know with The Queen is Dead, which I now love, I now see as a near perfect album, I would give a 9 or a 10 to it. When I first listened to it, I didn't know how I felt. And that might be the case here. So I'm just saying, like, take what I say with a grain of salt, because this is my first reaction, not my official final reaction. For what it's worth. Okay, so we have 11 tracks here today. just 38 minutes. I feel like we should just dive right in, see what we got. This is kind of a loose concept album. Ziggy Stardust is like this alter ego character that Bowie put on, and a fictional androgynous bisexual rock star who acts as a messenger for extraterrestrial beings. If that doesn't scream glam rock, I don't know what does. So let's go. 5 years. I'm really curious to see how this album holds up now, because I tried the first one or two songs of this like 5-6 years ago before I really got into music like I have recently. And it did not land at all, and I was like, this just isn't for me. So I'm eager to see how these songs feel now. So 5 years. Here we go. Really bizarre comment, but this might make sense to some people. There's certain albums or artists or songs, whatever it might be, that I have a very musical, like physical relationship with. Like, and when it comes to concept albums, like albums that kind of tell a story or have a theme to them, they're not just kind of compilations. For instance, In the Airplane Over the Sea, Neutral Milk Hotel. That is kind of a concept album. You know, there's a through line. It has a themes. But I have a very visceral music experience and reaction to it. So it's like when I play it in the car and I'm by myself, it's like I'll belt those lyrics out. You know, I'll get into the music, like physically. I'll really be there with it. But with something like Lift Your Skinny Fists by Godspeed You Black Emperor, obviously, I'm not like singing along to the music samples. I'm not like banging my head with the music. I'm just kind of like listening to it from like through a window almost. It's like I'm watching a movie. And some of you guys might be the same way with movies, where it's like there's certain movies where you get very emotionally connected and almost physical with it. And there's other ones where you're just kind of like watching it voyeuristically, and you're just like, yeah, good. And that's how I am with Lift Your Skinny Fists. Is it's like, I see that it's good, and to some degree I feel that it's good, but I don't like engage with it, if that makes any sense whatsoever. At most, I want to say that my hope is that I'll be able to do the latter with this album, where it's just like, okay, yeah, I feel it to some degree. I see it. But these aren't songs that I'll belt out in the car. There's some albums that I just don't do that with. And this might be one. I don't know. But that's my hope. Usually albums that I do really have a connection with in that way, like with Airplane Over the Sea, it's usually the immediate reaction. Like as soon as I heard the opening tracks off of that album, I was just like, I'm on board. I get it. I'm in. And usually that's the indicator. So with this one, I just want to at least be able to appreciate the concept and the story that it tells, even if I don't have that musical feeling with it. So for whatever it's worth. This is Greta Thunberg's anthem. I apologize for the flushing toilet. The water, like the pipes in the walls, are really loud in this house. I don't know why. Interesting. Definitely glammy. I think one of my, I don't want to say issues, but like one of the things I can't connect with glam is the chord progressions. It's like they follow a typical pop formula, and then they'll occasionally throw in like a random like major chord like from a different key in there, and it's very like dissatisfying to me. Not all glam music does that, but it's a typical trope, and I don't always find that enjoyable. But that's just a personal taste kind of a thing. Yeah, I I don't want to talk too much about each individual track. I would just want to keep trucking forward because this is kind of a concept album. So let's keep going. Soul Love.
Stone love new words that only they can share in you. Inspirations have I none, just a touch of flaming dove.
I don't know about you guys, but Soul Love is overrated. Body Love is where it is. Another fine song. I think I really admire David Bowie as kind of that frontman, entertainer kind of person, but who is also like the songwriter and the instrumentalist. Because he did piano, keyboards, guitar, saxophone, harmonica, and I want to say that was rare, but it was just it's common to have these like front runner guys like Morrissey or whatever who are just vocalists. You know, they write the lyrics, they write the melodies. That's it. So it's kind of nice to have this like guy who spearheads all the music and is involved very heavily in the songwriting, but is that entertainer and has that persona. You know, that doesn't happen very often. Just a comment. Moonage Daydream.
I'm an alligator, I'm a space invader, I'll be a rock and rollin' bitch for you. With your ray gun smile.
Intriguing. So I'm looking something up here. I'm just kind of curious. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon was 73. Okay. And that was kind of the beginning of their stuff. Yeah. And then Wish You Were Here, Animals, The Wall. Okay. So, yeah, in a way, this is pretty seminal. I don't know if I've said it before in a reaction video before, but I remember the first time I saw Citizen Kane, which is touted as like the best movie ever made, right? Like just on all the best movie lists of all time. It's like Citizen Kane, 1940 or whatever, and it came out. And I remember watching it when I first started to get into movies, and I watched it and I'm like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. And it was a really good movie. Like it was a great drama. But I watched it and I'm like, why is this considered the best movie ever made? Like I don't get it. It's just a really solid movie. But then I realized like movies like that didn't really exist before then. Like that was just like a powerhouse of a movie and it set the stage for every movie afterward. It was like it raised the bar, right? I'm wondering if I'm getting that with this a little bit, where this doesn't, as someone in 2020 who has never heard this album before, barely heard David Bowie at all, aside from the previous two albums, I'm just like, pardon what I'm about to say, what's the big deal, right? But then I'm realizing, like, this may have not been a common thing. You know, this is 1972. So this may have set the stage for a lot of things, right? because this has some proto-punk elements, kind of coming off the cusp of Velvet Underground, right? Early 70s. I don't really know a lot genre-wise what's happening historically in the early 70s here. So I might be missing some things. So let me know in the comments. I'm probably going to need a ton of like kind of historicity behind this as far as like where this sits in relation to other music. That might be very important for me to know. But like just on first listen, this doesn't seem... It seems like I've heard things like this. But it could just be that this was like the genesis of those kinds of sounds, right? Kind of like what I explained with Citizen Kane. So let me know if that's kind of the case with this thing. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep as much of the commentary low, like as, you know, kind of subdued as I can, because I don't want this to be a super long video. Because I know I've done a lot of talking and we're only 3 songs in. So I'm going to try to keep it subdued and simple. And then let a lot of the discussion happen in the comments with you guys. So, Starman.
Lights were low, oh, oh. I leaned back on my radio. There's a starman waiting in the sky. Told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me. Children boogie. Look out your window, I can see his light. If we can sparkle here.
I feel like that's the most straightforward pop song so far. It's like kind of more easily palatable. It's not quite as eccentric, I guess. Yeah, I'm having to like go to like each song on Wikipedia, like its own page, and like see like what the lyrics are talking about to kind of follow the through line of this story. It ain't easy. This is a song by Ron Davies. Very small Wikipedia page for him. This song has been covered by a lot of people, though. So I don't know why a cover is in a concept album, but let's listen.
Climb to the top of the mountain. Look out over the sea. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. Satisfaction.
Not really my thing. A little more of that blues hard rock. You guys know I don't enjoy that a whole lot. So there it is. Lady Stardust, we're on to side 2. Let's go.
People stare at the makeup on his face, and he was all.
I gotta say, I find the piano in glam music really fascinating. Because you had Elton John, of course, you have Elton John, very piano based, right? I haven't listened to a lot of his music, but obviously he's always known for playing the piano. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road was 73. Interesting. Was Elton John really influencing the glam scene before 73? I don't know much about him, and he's come out with so much. Rocket Man was 72. So maybe they were kind of contemporaneous to some degree. Your song came out in 70? Okay. So one thing I find really interesting about glam piano is it's very chord based, you know. You're playing kind of single notes or octaves, maybe fifths in the left hand, and then just basic like kind of triads with maybe a melody trickled on top. But they're very kind of piano based songs when the piano is there. You definitely get that with Elton John. So I'm wondering if Bowie kind of took a page out of Elton John's book, or I don't know. You know, did Elton John kind of set the stage for that? And so as far as piano goes and how it's represented in glam rock, because there's a very specific style. You know, it's not super experimental or artistic or impressionistic or anything like that. They're just very basic chords, kind of broken up with maybe a melody mixed in there. But it's always a very similar style through what I've heard here and through Elton John's music. Don't know. Interesting. I think the Beatles had something to do with it too, though. Because if you listen to like Revolver onwards with the Beatles, you can kind of hear that piano style in there as well. So I'm wondering if that just kind of became the norm going into the 70s. Just a thought. I see it. All right, let's keep trucking. Star. Interesting. Very bombastic. Let's keep going. Hang on to yourself.
We can't dance, we don't talk much, we just fall and play. But we move like badges on Vaseline. Come on.
Oddly enough, that's one of the songs I've connected to most so far. I don't know what it is because it's like this glammy Velvet Underground thing. But there was like some kind of like when Velvet Underground gets like oddly melodic, even though it sounds very dissonant and weird. That's kind of the vibe I got here. Don't know. I liked it though. Ziggy Stardust, the big one.
Ziggy played guitar, jamming good with Weird and Gilly. Where were the spiders? While the fly tried jiving us that we were voodoo, the kids were just crack, making love with his ego. Ziggy played guitar.
So I'm pretty sure I've heard parts of that before. The Ziggy played guitar. I've heard that, and I've heard like the opening guitar lines. I haven't heard the whole song though. Must have been in movies, I guess. Used in movies. I don't know. Anyway, got 2 songs left, guys. Let's keep going. Suffragette City.
Leave me alone, you know. I'll lean on me, man, 'cause you can't afford the ticket. Back from Suffragette City.
This was in Rock Band, the first one, I believe, in 2007. That's why this one sounds familiar, because I remember playing some of the guitar bits on the guitar. 2007, jeez, what a time, what a time. That's actually the year I started my YouTube channel, like May 2007, if you will. Jeez, 13 years. I've had this channel 13 years. I actually have a playlist. I don't know if it's public. I think it is. Called Unlisted Videos. If you go to my playlist, is it here? It is. 209 videos that I have since unlisted. Because once I started to gain like popularity and got more subscribers, it's like I should really like unlist a lot of my old like personal videos. Because a long time ago, my channel, it was actually titled The Voice Dub Gang, and we voice dubbed things. Like little clips of movies. Sometimes we voice dubbed like whole movies, and it was awful, like legitimately unwatchable. And then eventually this channel just became like something for me to throw Let's Plays on, or like tutorials, piano tutorials, anything that I wanted to create, I put on this channel. And as time went on, I realized, like, I should probably clean that up. So I unlisted a lot of videos, put them in a playlist, and apparently you can just go look at them. So if you guys want to see my unlisted videos going back to like 2007, you can, if you so dare. Anyway, let's resume. What I mentioned earlier about the glam chord progression stuff is how it's like, it just seems so aimless, and it's just like, it like rarely feels like it resolves. It's just kind of like ephemeral and just kind of goes wherever it wants. I actually really liked this one. Part of it was that proto-punk thing, you got that kind of like fuzzy, not necessarily reverby, but it's just like kind of a chunky, fuzzy guitar with a very quick repeating chord progression, very similar to Velvet Underground, of course. You got a little bit of that on previous two albums, or at least one of them, I think, had some proto-punk on it. And you had that on this, and it really stuck to that more than it stuck to the glam. And as it got towards the end and that synthesizer came in, I was just like, this is great. Much more straightforward. Still kind of artsy, but it was just very straightforward, easy to digest for me. I really liked the climax of that. It's a very energetic song, and it's probably one of the ones I've been able to kind of dial into more. That one and Hang On to Yourself, which was also a little proto-punk. That's kind of my anchor. That's what I'm more familiar with. So there it is. Last song, Rock and Roll Suicide.
You're a rock and roll suicide. You're too old to lose it, and the clock waits so patiently on your song. As you stumble across the road, but the day breaks instead. Oh no, love, you're not alone. No matter what or who you blame, just turn on with me, and you're not alone. Oh, give me a hand.
So apparently that song took some pages out of the book of Jacques Brel, who, if you don't know, he was this like Belgian French singer. Did a lot of chanson music, if you will, which probably doesn't mean a lot to a lot of you. It's pretty much just a lyric-driven French song, usually polyphonic and secular, according to Wikipedia. Sons of is one of my favorite Jacques Brel songs. The last two or three songs off of Scott 3 by Scott Walker are Jacques Brel songs. Great guy. Great artist. And I could kind of hear it a little bit in there. Just kind of that like very, I don't even know how you would describe it. It's just like, it's a singer's song, you know? But yeah, there it is. Ooh. In a way, this album feels kind of dense, so it might take some time for me to kind of formulate a first reaction, even, if you will, because at this point, it's like, I don't quite know how I feel. There was a lot of moments I liked, just here and there through the songs, so I might try to like go through these songs again a couple times before the next reaction. Suffragette City and Hang On to Yourself are probably my favorites. There was moments off of Moonage Daydream I thought were interesting. Starman was an interesting one. It Ain't Easy, I wasn't super big on. First couple songs were alright. Star was alright. Rock and Roll Suicide, that last one, was interesting. Yeah, I don't quite know how I feel. This might be my favorite so far, or it might be on par with Hunky Dory. I don't know. But there it is, guys. Thank you for joining me on this Ziggy Stardust adventure. Big album, I know. But again, if you guys have like historical context, what this album means to you, please put it in the comments. I want to know. Because I'm just a newbie coming in fresh. And I want to know where these things sit. Because that helps me understand the music better. Because if I can't immediately enjoy the music, having some historical context helps. So whatever you guys want to contribute, I'm thankful for. That's it. We're going to do Aladdin Sane, and then we are going to go to poll number 7. So yeah, one more glam album, and then we're going to go to, I think the triage. Triage, is that the right word? The trio of Low, Station to Station, Low, and Heroes. Those are the 3 that I'm most excited for. Because the glam stuff is just, I've never been a big glam guy. I like some Elton John. I've never really enjoyed Queen, and it's proving through these last 3 albums that I'm just not a big glam rock kind of person. So I'm really excited for his more experimental, artsy stuff that's just not as glammy, because I love the song Heroes. I really do. So I'm really eager to get more of that kind of thing. So it, like I've said it before, but in a way I'm kind of just trudging through these first 4. Not saying my expectations are low. I'm just really, it's work for me to get through these first 4. Although this last one wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I didn't want to like pull my hair out. It wasn't all blues, hard rock kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm eager for Station to Station, but next one is Aladdin Sane. And then we're going to do poll number 7. I'm probably going to do like another like heavy hitter one. And what I mean by that is I'll probably throw Fleetwood Mac Rumors in there. I'll probably throw Trap Mask Replica in there again. There was another big one I wanted to put in there. I don't remember what it is. But it's going to be like a really big, substantial one. The only way you guys can vote in it is to be a patron. $1 a month is all you need to contribute to have access to the polls. Patreon.com/AlexHaitz. Link is in the description, etc., etc. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I always feel kind of bad if I don't like just laud the albums. that you guys really want me to listen to. But I just want to be authentic, you know? I find more value in being authentic and saying how I feel and just contributing to the music discussion rather than being like, this is good. Because I feel like that's a dime a dozen to watch reactions on YouTube of people just like being like head over heels for something. And it's like, you know, that only goes so far. It's like, I want substance, right? It doesn't matter if I like or dislike something. I just want to talk about it. That's it. So thank you again, everyone. This might be a longer video. I don't know. I did a lot of talking. It may be the Elijah Craig talking, but who knows? Thank you, everyone. I'll see you in Aladdin Sane. Godspeed. Take care. Farewell.